Hello friends, Randy Cutts here, candidate for Congress in Arizona's new 9th Congressional District. One of the common questions I get asked by Republicans I meet on the campaign trail is, why are you running in a primary against Congressman Paul Gosar? Sometimes the question is just simple curiosity. Other times, though, if I'm being honest, it's with a slight tone of animosity. Either way, I thought it would be helpful to record this short video to answer that question. Now, to be clear, this is not an attack on Gosar, so I hope you will listen to my reasons and then decide for yourself who you want to send to Washington as your next representative. The short answer to the question is, I'm not actually running against Gosar. And what do I mean by that? Well, there's two main points I want to make. First, I'm not running against Gosar, rather I'm running for what I argue is an open seat. And second, I'm not running against Gosar, but I believe he's running against himself in many ways. Let me briefly address both. First, this is an open seat, and I did not move to run in this new district. With the 10-year census, the congressional lines were redrawn, and the new 9th did not have an incumbent who lived in the district. Mr. Gosar, who resides in Prescott or Flagstaff, the area that he's represented for 12 years, he chose to leave that area and run in the new 9th. A place where 65% of the votes cast in the last election will be new to him. He may be considered an incumbent to 35% of the voters, but the vast majority is new to him and never voted for him. By contrast, I live in the district and I did not move to run. But what's really disappointing about his decision to run in this new district is that it now leaves the new 2nd Congressional District vulnerable to losing that seat to Democrat Representative O'Halloran. He is someone Gosar could have beaten. That's an area where Gosar is widely known and supported, and it's a seat Republicans could flip red, giving us a 6-3 or even a 7-2 majority congressional delegation. If we lose that seat, that's on Gosar, who chose to leave his area and run in this new district where not even a Democrat has made the ballot. So that's one reason I want voters to understand. This district is new, but interesting to note that it's not new to me. For I not only live in the district, I also worked for former Congressman Trent Franks, who represented much of this new district, because it combines a portion of his original district in Mojave County along with portions of the district he represented in Maricopa County up until he left office. Now, if you'll indulge me, let me touch briefly on another area that answers the question of why I'm running against Gosar. The second point I want to make is that Gosar is actually running against himself in many ways. What do I mean by that? He's running in a campaign of one person against himself, against all he stood for and against all he could have been doing. If you look at Mr. Gosar's voting record and scorecards, he is no doubt a card-carrying conservative. I do not question his credentials here. In fact, he and Trent Franks could be rivals for the title of most conservative member of Congress. But next to Mr. Gosar's name, I would put a huge asterisk, because he's a wild card, not in his vote, but in his antics. Just a simple Google search will pull up countless articles about things that Mr. Gosar has either said or done that invite scorn and outrage, mostly from the left, but also from the right. Well, what does it matter? I mean, after all, the left is extreme and gets away with far more extreme behavior than the right. And yes, there's a double standard. I agree. But it matters because his conduct unnecessarily paints a huge target on the back of Republicans, giving an easy path for the left to paint all Republicans as racist, anti-Semite, white nationalist, homophobic, and more. Now, let me be abundantly clear. I do not believe Mr. Gosar is any of these things. However, none of these things help the conservative cause. Whether it's from the juvenile anime video he released depicting him slaying another member of Congress, which got him kicked off the committees that were really important to Arizona, or speaking at events run by outspoken anti-Semite white nationalist fringe, or tweeting and then deleting atrocious and non-factual things about the Uvalde shooter. All of this and more, it is simply not helpful. At a time when the Republican Party needs to do all we can to come together and win back the majority in both chambers to stop the madness of the left, we get junior high level behavior. It is not helpful. Most members of Congress conduct themselves with a measured, statesman-like posture, knowing they're accountable to the voter, to their constituency, as well as leadership in the House and general House decorum. Over time, though, I don't know, it just appears that he's lost his way. Maybe not necessarily on how he votes as a conservative, but more so in how he conducts himself in public office as a representative of the 800,000 people in his district. For me, friends, as I reflect on my own campaign, and as a conservative alternative choice to Representative Gosar for the people in the new 9th Congressional District, it has to be a clear choice. I am a constitutional conservative who believes it's possible and even necessary in our system of government to be both conservative and constructive without compromise, but also without fringe affiliations, extreme antics, or headline-grabbing stunts. Politics as usual is destroying our country, and we're suffering for a lack of principled and effective leadership. I purpose to be different. As a Christian, I'm compelled by my service to God. As a Marine Corps veteran, I'm compelled by my service to my country. And as a constitutional conservative, I'm compelled by the principles of America First. In contrast, the politics and posture of Paul Gosar have become incompatible with his public role as a servant of the people and have nothing to do with an America First approach. Friends, it's time to let a conservative, freedom-loving Marine take the helm and restore effective servant leadership to Congress. Thanks for listening, and thanks for considering casting your vote, Cuts for Congress, on August 2nd. God bless you.